Join me as we dive deep into the mystery of Sweden's ancient Viking stones and uncover the dark secrets that lie beneath them. When you picture a Viking runestone, you probably think of a proud monument to a fallen warrior, or a grand declaration of a family's power. But what if some of them weren't just memorials? What if they were meant to contain something far more dangerous, a terrifying power carved into stone? For centuries, countless Viking carvings were thought lost, destroyed as Sweden converted to Christianity, but they weren't smashed into dust. They were hidden, their secrets cemented into church walls and buried under bridges, their pagan symbols turned inward, silenced by the new faith. And when archaeologists began pulling those stones back out into the light, they found more than history. They found a monster. To understand what was hidden, we first need to understand what was lost. Viking-age runestones weren't just gravestones. Think of them as the billboards, legal documents, and social media feeds of their day. They stood along roads, at river crossings, and at meeting places, designed to be seen by everyone. They declared who owned land, honored the dead, and broadcast a family's influence. The Swedish province of Uppland had the world's highest concentration of these stones in the world, over 1,000 dotting the landscape. These weren't humble rocks. They were massive slabs of granite covered in intricate carvings of looping serpent-like creatures, warriors, ships, and sometimes things much darker. Not every image was meant to honor the dead. Some depicted scenes from Norse myths, gods at war, monsters bound in chains, and beasts so feared their names were rarely spoken aloud. And then, as the 11th and 12th centuries rolled on, the stones began to vanish. Christianity crept into Scandinavia slowly, uneasily. On runestones, crosses stood beside Viking tributes, faiths colliding in stone. In Denmark, a single mold could cast both a cross and Thor's hammer, a world caught between two gods. But as the church's power grew, and the old ways were pushed aside, the official story says the conversation was peaceful, the old beliefs simply fading. Along the way, the most visible symbols of that world, the runestones, supposedly met their end. Many disappeared from history, assumed to be broken up and lost to time. Only, they weren't gone. The truth is far stranger. Many were taken and deliberately worked into the Christian world, church walls, cemetery gates, even the foundations of bridges. Sometimes their carvings faced outward, a token nod to history. But more often, the pagan imagery was turned inward, hidden in the dark, as if to keep something inside the stone itself from ever seeing daylight again. What could have been so dangerous, so feared, that it had to be bound in granite and buried? That question would haunt archaeologists for centuries, until a dig in southern Sweden uncovered the face of the monster itself. The hunt for these lost stones didn't lead to remote mountaintops. It led straight into the heart of Swedish towns, to the very buildings that had stood for centuries as symbols of the new faith. At Hagby Church near Uppsala, renovations uncovered a threshold stone worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. When workers turned it over, they saw it wasn't blank. Carved into the underside was a Viking runestone, its pagan designs hidden since the 1400s, trampled under the feet of the faithful. In 1813, a stone inside Växjö Cathedral was found plastered over and sealed within a wall. Its inscription read, Toki, Toki the Viking, raised the stone in memory of Gunnar, Grimmar's son. May God help his soul. A mix of Viking identity and Christian prayer, entombed in the very house of the god it invoked. In Stockholm's Old Town you can still see Uppland runic inscription 53, mortared into the foundation of a building. Its serpentine designs wind across the stone, hiding in plain sight. These weren't accidents. This was deliberate cultural conquest. The new order didn't erase the old symbols. It captured them, turning ancestral power into the literal foundation of Christian Sweden. And yet, as archaeologists uncovered more stones, they began to notice something unsettling. They weren't just unearthing memorials, they were about to pull something darker out of the ground, a nightmare carved in stone and buried for nearly 1,000 years. December 2020. Archaeologists near Ystad in southern Sweden were overseeing a sewage line excavation. The work took them to an old stream crossing where they found a large, flat stone embedded in the remnants of the bridge. Brushing away the mud, they revealed a snarling jawline. Teeth, a massive wolf frozen mid-lunge. The stone was part of the legendary Runestones monument, destroyed in the 18th century, and many believe this carving depicts Fenrir, the monstrous wolf of Norse myth. To the Vikings, Fenrir was no ordinary beast. He was the son of the trickster god Loki, a creature prophesied to grow so strong he would break his magical chains, devour Odin, and bring about Ragnarok, the end of the world. Here was the apocalypse in granite, once proudly displayed, now buried beneath a bridge, his gaze turned downward, forced into the dirt. This wasn't just hiding a stone, this was exorcism in granite, a desperate attempt to lock away a force the Vikings themselves feared. And it begs the question, what exactly were they trying to bury? The easy answer is paganism, but it's more profound than that. The transition to Christianity in Sweden wasn't clean or entirely peaceful. It was a strategic, often fearful campaign to absorb and dominate the cultural power of the old gods. You can't simply tell a people that the monsters their ancestors feared aren't real. Those fears were carved into the very landscape. So instead of erasing them, the church made the old powers serve the new one. By embedding runestones into church wall, the Christian order declared, "Out God stands on the shoulders of your gods. Your apocalypse is now our foundation." The Fenrir stone is the ultimate symbol of this. The wolf who was destined to end the world was forced into the mud, his myth trample underfoot. It was a proclamation in stone. Your world ender is cancelled. Our world will stand. The dark secret isn't just that Vikings had frightening myths. It's that their gods and monsters were never truly gone. They were forced underground, waiting. And even today, those stones are being found again. Archaeologists are still uncovering fragments of these lost monuments, each one adding a new piece to the puzzle of Viking belief and Christian conquest. If you want to follow the trail of hidden history and long-buried secrets, subscribe and hit the bell. The next discovery might change everything we think we know about the Vikings. For centuries, these runestones lay silent, their voices muffled by plaster, mortar, and earth. But as they emerge from hiding, from family memorials in Hagby to the snarling face of Fenrir near Ystad, they speak again. They tell us history is never truly destroyed. It's repurposed, built over, and hidden in plain sight. They reveal a time when two worlds clashed, one trying to survive, the other determined to dominate. Somewhere beneath a quiet Swedish village, another stone waits. His carvings face inward, its story trapped in darkness, until we find it, and release whatever it's been holding all this time.